Come budget my check with me as an IT service desk making about $23 an hour. So first things first, my gross pay after 2 weeks of work is $18.40, and because I'm a contractor, I have to take out my own
Really?
taxes, $456, which leaves me about $13.84 as my net pay. So for
Gross pay.
expenses, I have $100 for ties, credit card, I'm trying to pay it down, $500. I don't really drive, so 50 for gas, and food $125. So now I'm left with $609. And for savings, I have a trip that's coming up. I'm gonna put about $200, $250 for some extra bill payments, and then $100 for savings, which leaves me with $59 that I can just do whatever I please with. Come budget my check with me as an IT.
No, that's not gonna cut it. That's not gonna cut it. In my opinion, you don't get a trip with the credit card debt. That's low hanging fruit. You got to get that monkey up off your back, in my opinion. And that's a pretty easy goal. She didn't say how much credit card debt she has, but if it's consumer debt, I doubt they gave you that much money to really just be able to lend to you. So it's probably something moderate, maybe a couple thousand. I don't even think it would probably be in the tens of thousands. So just go ahead and get that monkey off your back. Stop giving away free money. And then what you'll find is that can open up an extra $500 that you'll be able to start saving. So a month, ideally. So I would just knock that out, and then you can take something of that and start putting it into the travel budget. That's what I would do. Y'all, before we get into the next clip, if you could like the video, greatly appreciate it. It only takes a second and actually helps out more than you know. And also, if you could hype.
Someone else tell me that they're living a paycheck to paycheck. Are you living paycheck to paycheck like me? You are. I don't think you understand. Paycheck to paycheck means like paycheck to paycheck. You got to put some money up from that paycheck in order to have enough next paycheck to pay the fucking bills. You get on paycheck to paycheck. Okay? And you're drowning in fucking debt because you don't have enough money to pay that shit off, because you will barely have enough money to pay the fucking bills off. It's so fucking stressful. Like, and I'm trying to get a second job in a fucking warehouse, and I actually slave every fucking day for fucking 11 to 12 hours. You hear me? Blessed. I am, and I'm grateful for everything I have, but paycheck to paycheck, like, I'm over it, be able to go do some shit when I want to do some shit. I don't want to just have to pay bills and that's it. That's what my life consists of. I'm too old for this shit. So do y'all have any tips and tricks or any advice for me knowing my situation? Or is there anybody out there like me in my situation? There's gotta be. Please tell me, what do y'all do? Someone else tell me.
You want the real advice, or you want us to be PC? Because before we even get into tips and tricks, I guess, of how to find something better or whatever it is that she's trying to do, we got to address the elephant in the room. And if we go back, the elephant in the room should be pretty clear. What's the first thing you need to do before you embark on this journey of trying to do anything else or seek anything else? The first thing you need to do, thank goodness, I was looking real hard. I was trying to see if she had face tattoos. It looks like she's just put holes in her face, and that's it. So it's not going to leave that bad of a mark, and it's not going to be very identifiable. You need to take those out your face. Now, the neck tattoo is very profound, right? Pronounced. It's very pronounced. So that's going to be another hurdle, because you got a tattoo on your neck, which is almost like getting something on your face. You didn't just get something in cursive on over here, where you can just keep your head one way and only show your good side. It's right in the middle, and it looks dark, right? It doesn't look holy. So that's going to be an obstacle as well. But she didn't give any other context as far as her situation. But obviously, the most glaring thing is to take those piercings out.
This was probably actually the key to my financial success, paying myself 10% every single time I got paid. And I always tell people, 10% is that perfect threshold, because it's small enough not to miss, but it's big enough to see results. So like if you get paid $1,000 and you put up $100, bro, you're not gonna really miss that. And what you're gonna realize is you probably would have spent it on something that you really didn't need or want. And so it's best to just go ahead, do that as soon as you get paid. Put your 10% away. In this case, $100. Put it away, so you don't waste it. But at the same time, if you do that 10 times, bro, you're gonna see some results. And if you can't do 10%, do 5%. Do something so that you can build some kind of habit, build some kind of discipline, and just let it keep adding up, bro. I promise you, it'll add up as sooner than later, or sooner than you expected. And if you got a problem going and manually doing it yourself, have it automatically taken out so you don't even see it, don't even know it's there, out of sight, out of mind. This was probably
Yeah, that's a principle in this book as far as like keeping 10% for yourself. The book is called The Richest Man in Babylon. And that's pretty much one of the overlying principles that it talks about. And that's probably what he read. If he didn't read that, then he most likely, wherever his source was, that's where they got it. But yeah, the idea is to, no matter what, always pay yourself first, and always, at the very minimum, have 10% of whatever it is that you bring in, no matter what it is. Always keep that and build on that over time. And for me, I'm impatient, and also I want to make sure things work as best as possible. So I remember reading that book, and I said, okay, it says 10%. I like to go the extra mile. I said, I'm gonna always live in a way where my standard is at minimum 20%. So that's already 100% upside right there. So it should really work good. I should really get good results. And that's how I think about a lot of things. And I think that's how a lot of other people need to think of things, right? Sure, if you got a roach running through your house, sure, you could try to like chase it around all day with a sandal, or you could just bomb the house and then you don't got to worry about no roaches. That's my approach I take to life. I'd rather just do the thing that's guaranteed to work. But notice what I said. I said that's my standard, 20%. My standard. So standard means that's bare minimum. So that doesn't mean if there's opportunities, I don't put aside more. You understand? And I think a lot of these situations that we review, if people were taking things serious like that, then I think when the times come like we have now, like every generation has ever had, where there has been something to where they thought that was the end of the world, you'd be prepared for it and you'd be able to maneuver it in a much more intentional and strategic way because that gives you that buffer.
My check is gone and I literally just got paid. I literally got paid and put $1,500 in the stock market, which is my monthly investing goal. This is my 4th month of hitting it. Most of the money I invested
What?
into invest
Hold
code
on, hold on, hold on.
QQQ. This is one
Oh, now we're talking. This is the type of stuff I like to talk about. He's 23 years old. I love that. Let me go back. I'm paying
just
attention
got
now.
paid. I literally got paid and put $1,500 in the stock market, which is my monthly investing goal. This is my 4th month of hitting it.
Good.
Most of the money I invested into invest code QQQ. This is one of my favorite ETF. It tracks the NASDAQ 100 and it's been very consistent in bringing me gains. Brother's birthday is also tomorrow. I bought him a banging birthday gift. I'm gonna show y'all when it gets here. Investing that money is a sacrifice. I have about $350 until the next time I get paid. However, I have a full fridge. I have a full tank of gas in my car. And really all of my needs and bills are paid for the month. So I'm not mad at it. At the end of the day, I'm young and I love to invest, but I understand that I have to invest the money now and make the sacrifices to set me and my family up for a better life in the future. Make sure you follow me for more and let me know if you have any questions. My check is...
Let's go. Oh, yeah, he probably comes from a good family, but he's going to be the breakaway in his family. He's going to be the family member who sets everything up for the next generations. Because this dude is 23 years old and he's investing $1,500 a month into an ETF, a good ETF, which will probably bring him a solid between 7 and possibly even 12% returns annually on average. And then it will compound as well. And he will also receive dividends that also compound. And he probably has it set to automatically reinvest the dividends. So, he is going to be good. And I wouldn't be surprised if he actually, at the age of 23 years old, has a long term investment plan. Because what I would have expected from a 23-year-old was to hear that he's like investing in companies, like singular companies, which can still be risky, even if you decide to go the blue chip route. But he's investing in an ETF, which in my mind signals longevity and signals that he plans on taking a long term approach, which is the correct approach, and that he's for sure, like, remember when I said doing what you have to do to guarantee what it is you want? At 23 years old, he's pretty much already guaranteed if he continues to keep that habit and at minimum continues to invest $1,500 a month. He's guaranteed to be a deca millionaire, if not more. He's guaranteed to be a deca millionaire probably by the time he reaches 50. For sure 60 if he just does that. And at the same time, what do you think is going to happen? His income generating capacity is going to go up. So he'll probably even be able to accelerate that by starting to invest more. Because as you can see, he only has $300 left to be able to spend on himself, which signals that he doesn't increase his lifestyle when he has more money. He increases his investments when he has more money. And he's comfortable just paying his stuff off and having a little bit of money to play with. But his priority is investing. And I think more people need to start taking that approach and living like that. So shout out to him.
And so the challenge right now in this country, honestly, Mel, we're leaving people behind. In this country right now, 7 out of 10 people are being left behind because they're living paycheck to paycheck.
Wait, 7 out of 10 people in the United States live paycheck to paycheck?
Stop for a moment and take that in. Because that means if you're driving down a street and there's 10 houses, 7 of those 10 are living paycheck to paycheck. So if you're living paycheck to paycheck, if you've got credit card debt, you maybe have student loans, and you don't have hope, I promise you at the end of
Guess what? That 23-year-old young man we just reviewed, he ain't living paycheck to paycheck. And as he continues to go, he's not going to be one of those 7. He's going to be the other 3.
these 90 minutes together, or however long we are together, you will see the light at the end of the tunnel. So that's number one. Okay. And so the challenge right now in this,
there's no reason for you to be broke in 2026. It's just every time you want to spend money, you pull your debit card out. And that's because you're not actually seeing the money that you're spending. Which is why I got this 100-day savings challenge. If I take from this, I'm going to see that I'm missing a couple of days worth of money. This challenge tells you how much to save every single day. If you're on day 25, you're going to put $25 into one of these envelopes. At the very end, you'll have over $5,000. If you're ready to hit that financial goal, if you want to grab one of these saving challenges, there should be a link down below you can use to grab these if these haven't sold out yet. And stop making excuses to tell yourself why you're not good at saving.
That's a good way to look at it. And I know why he's doing it that way. Because most people have to actually see it, right? They have to actually see the progress, and especially the money. Because they've done studies where they've talked about how not seeing the money whenever you're making transactions is part of the psychology that contributes to people spending more. Here's what I mean. If we still lived in a cash-based society, where everything you paid, you had to pull it out of your pocket, count it, and give it to somebody and hand it to somebody, you would actually psychologically be more hesitant and more cognizant of what you spend. But because now we live in a digital society and there's less friction when we make transactions, so let's even get away from just a swipe. It's gotten as easy now as a simple tap. So now we just spend money and we don't really feel it. We don't really visualize what we're doing because we're not actually taking the money out, counting it, and then seeing it leave our hands and ultimately leave our bank account or our net worth. So that's why people are more inclined to spend, and it can get even more egregious when we're talking about people having that type of frictionless transaction capability with credit as well. So that's not even money that they worked for, and all they can see is their desire, and they can't necessarily see the consequences that's going to come in on the back end in real time, which also contributes to people spending irresponsibly.
You know what I find absolutely crazy? I went to nursing school to become a nurse, to become financially free, and provide stability for me and stability for a future family if I was to have a child. I thought that, you know what, like, let me get into an actual career. Healthcare, phenomenal. I'll always have a job. They pay well until I actually got into nursing. Starting off as a new grad, I made $33.93 as my base pay. I was a mid shifter, so I got the same shift differential that a night shift nurse would get, and I got an additional $4. During that time, I was looking for an apartment, and all apartments were like $1,500 and up. I was only making like roughly $1,700 to $1,800 every 2 weeks. I was still going to be living paycheck to paycheck as a nurse. Even though like I chose a career, even though I went to school, I got the degree, I still found myself in the same rat race of having to pay bills, now having to pay student loans, having to afford living, and I'm still living paycheck to paycheck. You know what I find
Living paycheck to paycheck doesn't mean that you don't make enough money. Sometimes it means that you are spending exactly what you make and sometimes even more than you make. Not only was I living paycheck to paycheck, I was actually spending way more than I made because I never looked at my budget. I never looked at my income versus expenses. I just did not look at that. I did not give a fuck. And now I'm in this situation where I am in over $69,000 worth of debt and slowly paying that off. Listen, I make great money, but when I started my debt payoff journey, there was no wiggle room. Every single dollar was accounted for. It took me looking at everything with a fine-tooth comb and finding what the hell I can cut out and what I needed to keep. I cut out all unnecessary spending, including fast food, swimming lessons for my kids, even cutting out my beloved Amazon and Target. Sometimes the most frustrating part about this journey is realizing that I totally make enough money every single month to pay all my expenses and more, yet I am still in $69,000 in debt because I mismanaged my funds and I never had a budget. If I could give you one piece of advice is look at your freaking expenses, make a goddamn budget, and stick to that shit. If you're also on a debt payoff journey, follow along on my journey to becoming debt free in 365 days. I love you guys so much. Bye guys. Living paycheck.
You know how crazy that is. And you know what's crazy? I was about to give her a whole lot of credit. I was about to give her a lot of credit because I was going to say, finally, somebody that's being transparent and basically just telling the truth. Because a lot of us try to act like people were just given a bad hand. But what it really comes down to is people just can't control their spending. And they are spending more than what they have. And they're not like that 23-year-old brother we looked at. And that's really the root of their problem. But now I see why she was transparent, because it's undeniable. Ma'am. Because the way she framed it is as if that is all consumer debt. Consumer debt. Credit cards, maybe Klarna. Basically debt to where it's like you have no reason to have spent all that. Credit cards. So she was just spending on whatever, doing whatever she wanted, and then she ended up like this.
Almost 40 years old and still living paycheck to paycheck. If you told me that when I was in my 20s, I'd be like, that's definitely not going to happen. I will do everything in my power to make sure that that doesn't happen. Well, I'm here and I've had 2, sometimes even 3 jobs. And now being a mom of 2, I'm like, something has to change. So that's when I went searching online to find just remote jobs, working from home jobs, because I just couldn't take my time, right, to go physically to a job. So searching online, that's when I came across digital marketing. So I bought into it. It took me time to learn everything. And the biggest thing that I can share about my journey so far is you have to be consistent. It's worth it at the end. And seeing the results now, I'm seeing the possibilities, which is amazing. I would love for the mamas to reach out to me who have been looking for extra income, who want to do it from the comfort of their home, around their baby's schedule, their kids' schedule. It's very, very doable. The course that I'm in right now, I am loving, and I actually am finally seeing the results that I really wanted to, and the missing piece was mentorship. And not only that, the community you get with it. Everybody is so supportive. You get weekly mindset calls, daily mentorship, and then their actual videos. It's true beginner. So if you are almost clueless about digital marketing, don't really know anything about it, this is the course to get into to start off with. They not only have your back, I'll have your back too. Please reach out.
You guys see living those lavish lifestyles, buying luxury things, are typically travel nurses, or they're also just pulling a lot of like overtime, because overtime can be good for us. A lot of nurses have gotten into content creation because a lot of people do aspire to join the healthcare field. So they're getting like supplemented with a little bit of like money on the side. There's money coming from somewhere, but just the base pay as a nurse, you're not getting it. And I will also have very candid and honest conversations with people. Some people are just living off credit cards. I mean, they're not sacrificing any more of the time. Nursing already is like a laborious job, and people are upset that they have to work more than 312s to even sustain their lifestyle. They will just live off of credit cards. A lot of people are in a lot of debt. I'm going to insert a screenshot from my bank statement. I will show you guys 2 paychecks that I received from my last job. This was before I became a travel nurse. Those checks were roughly about $1,800 each. The money that we make now just doesn't align with the economy. And honestly, the more you make, the more they take. So making more puts you in a different tax bracket. They're going to take more. So essentially, you need to work probably 3 times as hard just to help supplement like what the income that you have. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, that happens, but I think ultimately we just have to evaluate what we feel like is a necessity. I think it looks different for everybody. And I think that just living within your means, making sure you put away a little bit more while also trying to seek opportunities to make more, I think that's the key. And as well, for the majority of people, people should be coming together. And I think that's really how society is designed and how it's set up to be. There's outliers. Listen, if you're somebody who really likes to work and you just really like to get it, and you feel very confident and capable in your abilities to take care of yourself, cool. While at the same time not sabotaging yourself, putting self-inflicted wounds on yourself, sounds good. But like I said, for a majority of people, I feel like they're not living in accordance with how society is set up for you to be sustainable, and then that's why you end up having these issues. But we'll leave it there for today. If you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second, and it actually helps out more than you know. And also, if you could hype the video, hype is a new feature that YouTube offers where it helps smaller content creators like myself. And basically, when you hype, it actually pushes us to the extent that it pushes the larger content creators. So you just press the hype button, then it shows the points. And since I'm a smaller content creator, we get more points per hype than other content creators. And then also Patreon's link below if you want to see self-improvement content as well. But until then, I'll catch you in the next video.